Hey PPL students, let's jump straight into this explainer and master runway water contamination so you can absolutely crush this specific section of your ground exam. Section 1. Contamination Exam Prep. Listen, we're skipping all the fluff today. Your ground exam strictly tests your knowledge of specific, standardized definitions, which means there is zero room for interpretation here. The aviation authorities just want to know that when you read a weather report or hear a runway condition code on the radio, you know exactly what the physical runway looks like. To pass this section, you've got to understand exactly how moisture severity escalates. And honestly, just memorize the specific trigger words the examiners are looking for. These aren't just casual adjectives, they're highly precise aviation terms. Section 2. The 4 moisture levels. Okay, let's treat these like flashcards and see how this builds from the absolute least severe condition all the way up to the most dangerous. We kick things off with damp. The key here is that the runway surface has literally just changed color because of the moisture. It might look a bit darker than usual, right? But there is absolutely no sheen of water. It is simply a color change. So lock that exact phrase in your mind for the test: change in color due to moisture. Next, things escalate to wet. This means the surface is completely soaked. But crucially, and trust me, examiners love to test this exact phrasing, there is absolutely no standing water. If you see actual puddles, it's no longer just wet. The absolute key phrase to drill into your memory here is soaked, but there is no standing water. Now, the danger increases significantly with water patches. This condition is defined strictly by the fact that significant standing water is now actually visible on the runway. We've moved from a merely soaked surface to actual measurable puddles. So your trigger words for the exam: significant standing water. And finally, the most severe state is flooded. Here, that visible standing water becomes extensive across the surface. It's not just isolated patches anymore. We're talking about a vast majority of the runway being covered in water. When you see the word extensive linked to standing water on a multiple choice question, the answer is always, without fail, flooded. So what's the most critical exam distinction here? It's the leap from simply being soaked, which, remember, is classified as wet, to having actual standing water, which bumps you right up into water patches. Examiners love, and I mean absolutely love, to test you on this exact boundary. They'll give you a scenario where a runway is completely saturated but has zero puddles, and they'll try to trick you into calling it water patches. Don't fall for it. Section 3. Reporting by thirds. Knowing those definitions is step 1 for the exam, but knowing how to read the actual report is step 2. The runway surface is assessed and reported to pilots in thirds. It's broken down into the touchdown zone, the midpoint, and the rollout area. So you might get a sequential report describing the runway as wet, wet, and damp. This tells you exactly what moisture level to expect the second your wheels touch down and as you apply the brakes down the entire length of the runway. Section 4. Final approach and review. Okay, you've got the core definitions down, you understand the reporting structure, and you know exactly where those tricky examiner traps are hidden. Now, I know studying for your PPL ground exam is incredibly stressful, and your brain is probably overflowing with regulations right now. I was actually going to tell you a joke about a flooded runway to break the tension, but honestly, it's a bit watered down. All right, groans aside, let's leave off with this thought. Next time you're doing a mock exam or just listening to the weather report and you hear wet, wet, damp, ask yourself, how is this actually going to change my landing roll? Think about how these exact contamination levels affect your real-world braking action and hydroplaning risk. If this explainer helped clear up runway contamination for your test prep, please hit that like button and subscribe for more PPL study explainers. We are completely dedicated to helping you pass. Happy studying and fly safe.